live. Good morning. Hope everyone is having a great morning so far. It is Tuesday, July 11th, and I am really excited to talk to you about this today. I want to talk to you about the finite and infinite game of lifetime body transformation and really unpack this. And I think that this is probably going to be one of my favorite podcasts to date because I feel like it so perfectly articulates the mindset required to have a lifetime body transformation, something that actually lasts forever. So I got my notes pulled up. Let's just dive right in. This might be a pretty quick one. So if you've heard of the book, Finite and Infinite Games, that's what this is based on by James Carse. I'll read just the first part and then we'll kind of dive in and talk about it a little bit more. So the way to think about this is there are at least two types of games, finite and infinite. An infinite game is played for the purpose of winning. An infinite game is for the purpose of continuing the play. One more time, because that's really important. A finite game is played for the purpose of winning. An infinite game for the purpose of continuing play. Which of these two do you think better articulates what is required of lifetime body transformation? Now, you're probably thinking about this, and it's obviously infinite, right? Because let's think about this for a second. Is that the way, though, that the majority of people approach fitness? No. The majority approach fitness with what type of mentality? They go in with the end of deterministic winning. When I hit this goal, I win. Versus, I'm trying to play this game forever. And that is going to be a very profound difference in whether somebody, I believe, gains the weight back. Because think, 97% of women lose weight, eventually gain it all back. That's crazy. Why is it that we have such a high success rate? It is because we help people to create a scenario where they are playing an infinite game. Let's read on, shall we? Oh, that's kind of cool. All right. So if we're looking at finite and infinite games, you can see here on the right side, a finite game has finite steps, explicit instructions, winning is deterministic. Think of games like chess, poker, things that have an end, right? An infinite game there's no clear instructions, right? It's unclear what winning even is. And an example of that could be like starting a company, life in general, or body transformation. So let's think about this through the lens of finite games for a second. If somebody is trying to transform their body and they're thinking about the explicit instructions of like, okay, I got to eat this food, I have to sleep this much, and I have to exercise. That is true. But that is not designed in a way to play forever. Why? Because we're human beings, and that plan of, okay, give me the knowledge, give me the best workout, give me the best nutrition, give me the best protocol to follow. The problem with that is created with a part of our brain that is the least core to us, meaning we have three layers of our brain. At the core, we have like our reptilian brain, which is like the brain stem, and that's like autonomic systems like breathing and all that stuff. And then you have the next layer up, which is your limbic system, which is like your emotional brain. And that's the part of you that you kind of feel like is you, right? And then you have, and that you can influence it, but you can't act in a way in a long time that is not in accordance with your limbic system, with how you feel, and this is why people generally fail. Because if you think about, I should just say really quick, then we have the reasoning system above it. So that reasoning system is always trying to make your limbic system happy, right? So if you create a system that is with the layer 3 part of your brain, your reasoning center, you'll lose. Because if it's not in line with your emotional brain. Is this making sense, right? So if we do not create something that has more of no clear instructions, something that's a little more aligned with the emotion, which sometimes can be a little more fluid and loose, which is why a lot of people don't dive into it because it's complex, right? But by doing so, you create an infinite game, right? You create something where you can do it forever, which is why you're going to hear me say until the day I die. You have to make sure that you're optimizing for starting to play this game and never stopping. This, if you do this right, this is an infinite game. And that's how it should be approached. This is not, okay, I'm going to get to my final goal and then I don't have to do this stuff anymore, which again, logically even sounds weird. This is a plan. This is not a plan. This is these are habits that we continue forever. And that might seem daunting, but if it seems daunting, it's probably because you've only ever played finite games. And the finite games that you play have such a strict set of rules that you feel so overwhelmed by them, and it sounds scary to play an infinite game. Well, what if you played an infinite game that was easy to play? What if you played an infinite game that was so easy, and the amount of effort compared to the amount of reward you got out was in such a disproportionate, I guess it's so disproportioned, where you put in a little effort and you got a high result, that you were just so motivated to keep going, right? And you had a positive feedback loop. Don't you think that would be an infinite game you could play? That's how we need to look at this, right? That is the name of the game. Going in a little further, we have a finite game. The idea is to win, right? Infinite game, the purpose is to improve the game. We could talk about that for 20 minutes on its own, right? A finite game, the purpose is to win. The purpose is to get to your final goal. The problem is this: whenever we think about, and don't get me wrong, I'm a big goal setter. A big fan of setting goals with myself, with clients, with everyone. It's great. But it's important that we don't attach our self-worth and the achievement of the goal to winning. And here's why. Here's what we should do instead too. Connect it to the action. Because if you connect it to the action, you're playing an infinite game. If you're connecting it to the outcome, if you get the outcome, it's a lose-lose. Because if you get the outcome, now all the motivation of I'm here and striving towards it is gone. So now you're at the point that you're just kind of okay, now what? Have you ever known someone, I'm sure the answer is yes, that has lost weight and eventually gained it back? One of the reasons is not only because what they did was maybe unrealistic, but it's because their motivation's gone. They get comfortable where they are. And if you don't have that motivation, why do we do anything, right? But what if you felt good? What if your reward was the action itself? Which this goes into cognitive behavioral therapy and a lot of the stuff that we do with our clients to change their beliefs, right? This is why this is not it's always so funny to me when somebody will ask hey, tell me exactly what 12 weeks or 24 weeks are going to look like. I don't know. How am I supposed to know what's going to happen? Of course I know, I have a framework and, we work off the framework, and then it's really just, all of our coaches have 15 years plus experience. So, what really makes what we do different, I think, compared to 99% of the industry is we give you what you need, exactly what you need it, exactly when you need it, right? So that we can keep you pushing forward. But again, if we're thinking about the infinite game, the purpose is to improve the game. The purpose is to make it easier, more enjoyable, better results for less effort. You just keep doing that forever. And it comes in seasons. Recently, I just actually reduced my exercise because I was working every single day, and I did that for just about a year straight because I wanted to see how it would feel. The truth is, working out every single day and working as much as I do, even though I'm getting 9 hours of sleep, it still is really taxing and I can't fully recover. So I would find that some of my workouts are just okay. I kind of just go through the motions. Where now, for the next month, I'm going to be testing it. And again, I'm just improving the game. I'm dropping to 3.5. So 1 day on, 1 day off. So 3.5 days a week. And I'm testing with how that's going to make me feel, right? So I'm always trying to improve my own game. And it's the same thing that all my clients are trying as well. Hopefully this makes sense. A finite game improves through survival of the fittest. That's kind of not really applicable here. Let's see if there's anything else we can add in here. Yeah, that's about it. Mainly the first point. But hopefully that makes sense. If you want to check out the book, Finite and Infinite Games, you can. I read it, I think, quite a few years ago. So I don't remember a ton except from what I'm telling you. But hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully this is beneficial, because I can promise you that if you can approach your body transformation as a infinite game, you will win. You will win. See you guys soon. Have an awesome day. Bye.